Oh, I forgot to ask you a question.
Mm.
Do you bleep these things?
Mm-hmm. Aloha, welcome back to Spike's Breezeway Cocktail Hour. We're gonna make a cocktail tonight using tequila. Weird, right? I also have a guest for the show, and I'd love to bring on one of my oldest friends in the Tiki world, Mr. Crazy Al.
What, it's me already?
It's you, you're on.
We're here?
Yeah.
In the Breezeway.
So Crazy Al is a Tiki carver and a general artist that's been involved in the Tiki world for how long now?
This is a 30-year anniversary special all year long, because I basically graduated from art school 30 years ago in December. 2 years before that, the Tiki thing started.
And by art school, you mean Art Center.
Art Center, College of Design, Pasadena, California. The world's greatest Tiki art school. Not. But Bosco did graduate from there. And Mark Ryden.
Kind of one of the most, like one of the premier art schools.
It is a world-class design school.
But you're not from Pasadena.
No.
So where are you from originally?
Funny you should ask. I'm from the westmost western town, Scottsdale, Arizona. That's where I'm from. Wee doggies.
And you know, the funny thing is, there's actually a Tiki event now in Scottsdale, Arizona.
So that frickin' Otto guy,
yeah, Otto von Stroheim of Tiki Oasis fame.
he decides to have another Tiki event in Scottsdale, Arizona at the Valley Ho, my hometown.
As a tribute to you.
Yes, of course. And so not only do I have to worry about Tiki Oasis every August, all of a sudden now I got to make for April. So in April we have an event which might just happen to make a good cocktail. What do you got? I don't know, ladies and gentlemen, I know jack about cocktails. It's not my thing. I like fruit, juice, booze. Delicious. Because I'm an artist, I can make happen. What do you got for me? I am from Scottsdale, Arizona, the Sonoran Desert, La Sonora.
So I think tequila would be appropriate.
Yes, I've done a few tequila shots in my day.
Well, we're not gonna be doing any tequila shots, but the great Trader Vic Bergeron had a cocktail in his Trader Vic's Bartender's Guide called the Acapulco Gold.
The old Acapulco Gold.
It's a bizarre cocktail that mixes both tequila and rum. Now, the problem is those cocktails were usually served in like a tall zombie glass. Do you have anything that might be more appropriate?
Well, funny we bring up the Scottsdale event, and funny you bring up an appropriate mug because...
Oh my God. What is all this magic?
Otto von Stroheim, in his infinite wisdom, announces, we're gonna have a Tiki event in Scottsdale, Arizona. I'm like, oh crap, I have to present my hometown. I sculpted these. This is what I do for a living. I'm a sculptor and sometimes I make Tiki mugs. When I was a kid in the mid-70s, my mom had to drive 6 miles to the nearest grocery store, right? And that was downtown Scottsdale, where the Valley Ho is.
Oh, okay.
Downtown Scottsdale, westmost western town, Valley Ho event. It was a big tourist destination for probably 30 some odd, 40 years by that time. And in every store, especially in the 70s, that I would go into was this cowboy with his pants falling down and a cactus growing out of his, and I'm like,
I see where their inspiration
I'm
comes
like, many Tiki gods and such, especially like Tongaroa has a large phallus, and I'm all, So the face, that's not actually a Tiki face. I try not to go traditional on most things. And the weird thing about it is it's slightly maybe Aztec or something, but what it is a olive oil vessel god.
Huh.
What is that?
I don't know.
Los Olivos is a classic family restaurant in downtown Scottsdale where I grew up. And on top, as you enter, is this giant omising thing looking at you. All intents and purposes, as a little kid, it's basically a Tiki face staring at you as a wee little boy is walking into the place. And you're just like,
yeah.
kind of thing. Very awe-inspiring for like a 5-year-old kid. That's the face.
Oh, I
the
see.
Thing.
Oh.
And it wasn't even until I started sculpting this thing that I realized what is on top of the restaurant is an olive oil pitcher to like serve olive oil.
Okay.
It's so bizarre.
Yeah.
And weird. But the face is so gnarly. Look at that thing. And so I just translated it and tweaked it a little bit.
Yeah, almost kind of a Hawaiian coup.
Added the beautiful Hopi indigenous peoples of the Southwest. I think that is a sun god, actually. But this is traditional Hopi overlay, silver overlay that I mocked up.
Oh, okay.
That's 24 karat white gold on there. That's what I'm talking about.
Really?
And then this guy is... I just did a little sculpting add-on. But the beautiful thing is, these two are real cacti.
Oh.
And you can wash them and everything.
Weird.
So it's a cocktail mug, cactus planter, and if you can't deal with sunlight getting into your tiki bar, I finally found the faux phallus silk plant. Hopefully will be available this April in Scottsdale.
Okay. You know what I found the problem to be with vintage tiki mugs is that there's no way for me to enjoy my love of succulents while having a cocktail.
Keyword succulents. Good one, Spike!
Oh no. So for this cocktail, we'll be using white grapefruit, pineapple juice, coconut cream, dark Jamaican rum,
Karuba, and
tequila.
Tequila! Da, 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 bum, bum, baby.
Let's go. So we're gonna start by cutting a grapefruit in half.
Did I tell you I was a big John Belushi fan?
Oh yeah.
And those were my heroes. All those wacky weirdos from the 70s. So we are gonna do Samurai Tiki Bartender.
Okay. For 2 cocktails, we need 1 ounce of grapefruit juice. So 1/2 ounce per cocktail.
All right, you just tell me when.
Okay.
I watched one of your videos, and you're like, start from the top, and you squeeze and you manipulate.
Yeah.
You're squeezing and manipulating the fruit
Yes.
from the top.
From the top.
Oh, am I doing it right? Wait.
Yes.
We gotta...
But you're also concerning me with the noises and how close you're getting to me.
Oh.
Oh no.
Ooh. Oh, it's going a little everywhere.
Okay.
But do I got
Yeah,
the...
that's good right there. Yeah, that's an ounce.
For 2 drinks?
Yes. Okay. So there is 1/2 ounce of white grapefruit juice per cocktail. Next ingredient is pineapple juice. Before you open it, let's be sure to shake it.
It says dull. If you don't get dull in a little tiny can like this, it's gonna taste like shit.
A zillion people on the internet now are gonna have something to say about that.
Well, they don't know. Okay, you tell me when.
2 ounces per cocktail. So you're gonna go to the top line there.
There? Is it there?
No, keep going.
Keep right.
Right there. Okay, we need to do that twice. So it's gonna be a very pineapple-y cocktail.
Tell me when, because
Okay.
you know I got sunglasses on and it's at night.
Okay, there it is. There's the juice. I was gonna ask you, what do you have in store for the next Tiki Oasis?
Pray to the tiki gods. You might just have a little something special.
What in the world?
But basically, this is my luau siesta mug. I found these things that are called bucket hats, I found out.
Yeah, sure.
But they're antique doll hats. But I only found 25 of them.
Oh, so we are super limited.
So I made 25 pieces because that's all the hats that there were. And I actually had to custom make them like, they didn't look like that. They looked more like this. But I had to manipulate them and make them look very Hawaiian plantation hats. Only 25 hats. And so that's all I made. This particular Tiki Oasis will have a whole new batch of luau siesta mugs.
Okay. Certainly one of the most creative tiki mug makers in the scene. And it's funny because there's a lot of tiki mug makers who are just tiki mug makers. And I don't want to get into it yet, but Crazy Al is really best known for carvings. Like
I just say I'm an artist. I just do art.
Yeah.
This was based on the poster art for the event. Oh, like a one-of-a-kind sculpted piece.
So what do we do with
we
these things
did
now? 'Cause
fruit juice.
Right.
Now we need alcohol maybe. Or Lopez. Got it shaken, but This stuff is gross.
Super gross. Super delicious. Super gross.
But you're getting a questionable drink if the bartender does this, which is spewing out.
So we need 1 ounce per cocktail, so we need 2 ounces of that.
Okay, you tell me when. Did I get it? Is that enough? There's all kinds of innuendos here. These are cactus, ladies and gentlemen. Oh!
This is a family show. Kinda.
Oh, did I get it enough? Is it there?
To the top.
To the top?
Well, the top line, yeah.
Oh my God. Oh, wait a second. Mmm. Oh! Oh! I'm not done yet.
Yeah, that's good. That's plenty.
All right. I did get a little over here, but we'll clean that up in post. There we go. And that's the next one. Wait, I got a little on my chin.
Oh my God. What does this show become? All right, so there's the coconut goo. Okay, let's do the rum.
What happened? Oh, hey, if I was like Tom Cruise, I could swing this around my back and.
Please don't do that.
We got breakables.
We do
and
have
antiques.
We have breakables.
Oh, we got to bring this up.
What?
There's a whole story about this.
What about that guy?
I don't know. That'll be episode 3.
Ooh, stay tuned. Okay, so we need.
That's awesome that you have one of those. All right.
Thanks. We need 2 ounces of dark Jamaican rum.
Is this the dark one?
Yeah.
2 ounces.
Right there. Perfect.
All right. And then that goes in there?
Yeah. Here we go.
All right.
Now the tequila. The mystery ingredient.
Ooh, rum and tequila. If you really want to have a fun tiki party, like we did back in the 90s, early 90s, I'm telling you, you rum it up, but then you sneak a bunch of vodka in there because people don't know what's in there.
Oh, really?
So we would make giant punch bowls.
Uh-huh.
And it'd be a bottle of rum and a bottle of vodka and then just the other stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, there was a lot of people in the...
Hospital?
Almost, but it was fun. Ooh, it was fun. Okay, how much of this stuff?
Same thing.
Wait, there's a whole thing about you gotta hear the... Oh, that was beautiful.
What do you... Hold on 1 second. What is your opinion about corks?
I only have an opinion because I've watched your show. I can only say, because I'm not a cocktail guy, I know nothing about this stuff
You're not
at all.
Not a cocksmith.
No, I'm none of them. These are cactus, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, you get a little on your wrist. It's excellent. My dad, every New Year's, would pop the cork in the backyard and it would fly and we would like try to chase it. That was every New Year's Eve for like 15 years of my life or whatever. We would save them. We would do whatever.
Yeah.
So corks are cool, but I have no opinion. Fake, non-fake.
Oh, yeah.
I like Jason's thing about I grew up in the desert. I know all about it. It's like little thing about the desert and Jason and the whole thing. If you go back to the link right here,
Where?
then the link.
Huh?
Click on the link.
2 ounces.
2 ounces all the way to the top.
Yes.
This goes a little quicker than the old Coco Lopez. Right in there.
Right in there.
Woo!
And that's the cocktail. That's the Acapulco Gold. That's hard to say. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna add some ice to this, shake it, and then pour it into a couple of these incredible drinking vessels. We are gonna fill a tin with some ice.
You don't say! You have an ice machine? I thought I saw something.
I do have
in the link.
Oh my God. Yes, it's in the link.
But the ice is crucial to tiki drinks.
Yes, it is. Pebble ice is the best ice. And if you want to see a whole episode on an ice maker review, you can find the link. I'm gonna have to add all these stupid links.
But I have to say, so Beach Bum Berry, Mr. Cocktail himself.
Right.
So I was at like a Hukilau or one of these things, and he went into the whole blah, 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 how important crushed ice is, like the little pebbles, because water is one of the main ingredients. This is what you don't know. Water is one of the main ingredients to every tiki drink.
Yeah.
But it comes in the form of crushed ice, not giant cubes of ice, crushed ice.
So the smaller ice will dissolve into the cocktail quicker than big chunks of ice.
Right.
And so that's why it's so important to use ice that tastes good. Like filtered water, because it's going into your drink.
Maybe you've gone to one of these tiki events with the room parties and stuff, and they try their best to make a batch.
Yeah.
If you're lucky to have ice at all in your drink,
3 little pieces of ice.
it's cubed ice, and it's like you're drinking this thing that is like not meant. They may have got the recipe right, but just the raw ingredients without the crushed ice, you're killing it. It's like acid reflux, whatever.
Okay, we're gonna add the cocktail into the tin. And
Tell me you're gonna. Oh, that's not good.
give it a smack. How are you at shaking cocktails?
Wait, I noticed that you shake it like this. Like a baby. Never shake a baby like this is what we're saying. Because everyone wants to go, "Hey, yucka, 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 hey, yucka, 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 hey, yucka, yucka, yucka." The spike method is you cradle it like it's one of your own, and you go, "Stop crying! Stop crying!" Are we done?
Sure, real quick.
More shaking by the expert.
Which ones are we gonna use to drink out of?
You know, I've never had a real cocktail in one of these. We'll go with the Mr. Hopi.
Okay.
And the straight shooter. It's Aloha, ladies and gentlemen. Aloha.
Aloha.
You know that song, Aloha Hawaiian Cowboy? Mm-hmm. That was all part of the whole thing. And so this outfit that you see on right now was way before Scottsdale, actually. Otto, in his great infinite wisdom, had a Hula Billy Tiki Oasis. I didn't even know what Hula Billy was. That's the beautiful thing about Tiki Oasis and Otto and his whole research thing. My man, Mr. Smiley, up in Vegas, bought this. This is real tablecloth from the islands.
Oh, you didn't make that?
No, this is real pressed bark cloth from the
Really?
paper mulberry tree.
Wow.
He found it somewhere and was like, I know this is perfect for somebody. So yeah, it pays to have Tiki old friends.
Also, the Hula Billy Year of Tiki Oasis featured the Hula Girls in direct support of Southern culture on the skid.
Really?
Hula Billy was what we always coined our genre of music.
Well, I had no idea that Hula Billy was even a thing. But it was when Hawaiian music turned into country music, basically. At some point, the Hawaiian guitar got adopted by country music, or what they call American music, or whatever it was.
Right, yeah.
Something like that.
When I started the Hula Girls and we started calling it Hula Billy, it was more of our intention of, there were a lot of like country bands and rockabilly performers who were singing about Hawaii at the time. Like Bill Haley did a song called Me Rock a Hula, and Hank Snow did some Hawaiian songs and stuff.
Hawaiian fervor that was going on mid-century.
1959. Yeah. Okay, so we're gonna add the cocktail to this dude. It's a little weird because you could probably put 4 cocktails into this dude.
Well, the Tiki mugs these days, it happens that you just make it look cool and you worry about how much it holds later.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Oh man, that's looking pretty good.
What do you think about this cocktail? Do you have any idea what it's gonna taste like?
No, but it smells amazing.
It does. It smells like a lot like pineapple.
Do you have to like go back and chop some mint down with a frickin' machete or something, or is there no mint garnish?
Trader Vic didn't call for mint in this one.
Okay.
Plus, we have it garnished with a
cacti.
We do have a couple of straws here from Spike's Breezeway Cocktail
are these
Hour.
long enough?
And
that question is, are they long enough, ladies and gentlemen?
And Surfside Sips. Okay.
What-tang!
And so from Trader Vic's, this is the Acapulco Gold.
Da 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 da.
Oh wow.
That might be my new favorite with all that Coco Lopez and stuff. It's a painkiller south of the border.
That's exactly what it is.
All that pineapple-y.
And instead of orange juice like a painkiller, this has grapefruit juice.
Yeah, it's a Navy groggish, because that's grapefruit, which is my favorite drink of all time is the Navy grog.
It's a good drink.
Dude, this is...
I would never think to make this drink. You almost don't taste the tequila at all.
No, not at all.
Would you order this at a bar?
Yes.
There you go. Oh, what is this?
So anyways, Scottsdale, Arizona.
Yeah.
This was my first Hawaiian shirt that I bought. I was big in my church, and we had the church dances and stuff. We didn't have tiki parties because...
Oh, pagan gods.
Fast Times at Ridgemont High just came out. So you had Spicoli, and these are a bunch of guys in the desert, right? So it's like it was Vans and OP.
Kind of emulating surf culture.
Yeah, and we grew up, we knew what Bridget it was a Bridget, what was it? Gidget, Annette Funicello, the whole beach blanket bingo thing. So we would have beach parties.
Okay.
So they weren't luau's, weren't tiki parties.
Right.
They were beach parties.
Sure.
And that was super cool and exotic in the desert. At least once a year, have a beach party.
Well, I've always said that tiki exists best in places not by the beach or the ocean.
Of course, it's escapism. Hello? Escapism. So there's no better escape from the desert than the beach. You had all these surfer dudes in the desert, which I didn't quite get.
Yeah.
But I begged my mom to buy me OP shit because everybody was wearing it.
And OP, of course, is Ocean Pacific. It was like a surf brand in the 70s and 80s.
Corduroy shorts.
For sure.
But the whole Spicoli thing just was like cemented, and especially when I was growing up with Steve Martin and David Lee Roth, Dan Aykroyd, Wild and Crazy Guys. Those were all my like heroes and stuff. So when we had these beach parties, it was like, this is the time to just go wild. So this was the first shirt I found. I bought it at a drugstore called Yellow Front.
And is that a vintage shirt, or that was new for that time?
This was probably new to that time.
Okay. Which is odd because it has horizontal buttonholes, which usually kind of designates 1950s Hawaiian shirt.
Well, this was whatever was on the rack in 1983-ish.
Dude, that looks 50s to me. So it really does.
Some guy was wearing one of these at Tiki Oasis one time. I'm like, that's my shirt.
Yeah.
I buy this shirt. I show up with the funny glasses and stuff. Then I moved to California to go to art school or whatever. And I had this outfit because I don't throw anything out. I'm in this Hawaiian shirt and I'm like, this is crazy, this is so fun. My dad is instrumental there because 50 years ago, this last summer, was my Tiki indoctrination. Because he took my family, when I was 4, he took my family to Hawaii to show us what it was all about. 1971. That was a kid from Scottsdale, Arizona, 4 years old, and then being transported just via a couple hours on a jet plane, and then landing and then being in Hawaii we were probably there for 2 weeks or something. We went to like 3 islands.
A total transformation.
Yeah, eventually turned Tiki into a business and ended up back in Hawaii, but it was like 30 years later was the next time I set foot in Hawaii. But this whole thing, I needed a portfolio to get into Art Center.
Right.
So I was just thinking of creative stuff, and I'm kind of doing this like wild thing with the Steve Martin, the Wild and Crazy Guys thing, and I'm getting a kind of a reputation or whatever. And so this just popped into my head. So this was before I went to Art Center. I did a self-portrait. This is circa 1987. So
you made this is really great.
This was my portfolio to go to Art Center.
Oh man, it's so frustrating when you know how good of a carver and sculptor Al is, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh yeah, by the way, I'm a rad painter. Look at the detail.
But that was to get into Art Center.
Yeah, this isn't even going to Art Center.
And so I have this outfit. The very first day of Art Center, this Eric Rindall guy said he had to meet me because of a mutual friend. And we don't really know anybody. It's the first week of school and we're just meeting everybody. But it turns out this Eric Rindall guy is in a band called the Swingin' Tikis. And this is 1989. Classic surf band from Santa Barbara.
Okay.
And they were formed in I think 87. He graduates Santa Barbara, he's going to Art Center, and he's like, hey, my band is playing. And what was weird is in Pasadena, there's a ski resort not too far away called Mount Waterman. It's like literally 30 minutes up the hill from Pasadena.
No way.
And so he's like, my band is playing up in the snow this weekend. You should check us out. So me and a bunch of other people go up to the snow.
Okay.
And
that's still there?
Mount Waterman is still there, I'm pretty sure. It's family-owned, tiny little ski resort.
Okay.
In the San Gabriel Mountains or whatever that is.
Okay.
We go, handful of people, and it's this surf music, which is fun. They're actually standing in snow playing out, And so they bust into this Wipeout song. And I had this reputation from the church dances and stuff of like, ooh, they're playing fun music. I must do something.
Yeah.
I'm not dressed like this, but I just jump out into the snow and I do this improvisational dance to Wipeout. And they're like, who the is this guy? The band doesn't know who I am.
Yeah.
So then the next weekend, Eric is like, hey, my band, that you saw last weekend, we're playing Zuma Beach on the beach in the sand. Whoa, you're playing on the beach and it's surf band. So I'm like, I got this outfit and these guys are playing this surf music.
Yeah.
So they didn't know, but I just show up in this outfit. And they play Wipeout again, so I jump up in this outfit, and these guys, they're all longboard surfer guys.
Yeah, totally.
Who are collecting Tiki. They had the Sandwich Island, is it Sandwich Island?
Mm-hmm.
They had the coats,
yeah.
They had the fezzes, they had the music, and these guys are like...
already on it.
On it for years, like since 87 or whatever.
Yeah.
And then there's this, what I think they call them ho-dads.
Okay.
So here's this guy who jumps up in this ridiculous, stupid outfit.
You're calling yourself a ho-dad.
I don't surf. I grew up in the desert, but I'm like, woo! So they play Wipeout.
Yeah.
I jump up. I do the crazy dance again that I did in the snow.
Yeah.
Like another week or two passes, and Eric's like, hey, we're playing Toast Tavern down, which was a surf bar. This guy, Eric, is like playing every other weekend with his band because he's just booking gigs. And surf bars, quote unquote surf bars, they ain't tiki bars.
Right.
But you had surf bars popping up all over the place. And back then, tiki was surf, basically. It was surf and Big Daddy Roth. The lounge thing through Otto and his group kind of came in later. For 15, 20 years, it was surf and Big Daddy Roth, basically, were the tiki people. So I jump up, I'm doing a thing, they're just like, who is this fucking crazy person?
Who's this crazy Al?
Their bass player, Dave, starts calling me Crazy Al.
Oh.
And they're like, oh, Crazy Al showed up. Every time I'd show up to a gig, they're like, oh, Crazy Al showed up.
Well, the funny thing is that the way that you ended up on the Hula Girls' first record, doing bird calls and jungle noises on the Hidden Village track, is because the drummer of the Swingin' Tikis was in the Hula Girls at the time.
All right. So, yeah, exactly. So, it's like...
Yeah.
Even before that, Eric graduates, goes up to San Francisco to be a fantastic graphic designer.
Yep.
Starts another band called the Swamis, which is not as classic. The Swingin' Tikis literally would not play anything but American music. They wouldn't play any British invasion music.
Okay.
It was not period to surf. But when he moved up to San Francisco, he did Surf and Groove, which was the Swamis, which was like the Doors. They would play Doors music and stuff like that. And then he would like, hey Al, we're having a gig. And I'd go up there and I'd dress up in a Swami's outfit, which is totally politically incorrect, but I got like a turban and I got like genie pants. So I just put that on and I went up there and put the turban on and I'm like, woo! And I'm doing the dance, but I'm not dancing to, Wipeout. I'm doing something else. They put out like a double album and the band crashes.
Oh.
Right from underneath the record release.
No way.
And Eric,
Swamis?
The Swamis just imploded. So Eric's like, and he starts brainstorming, and I was at the time bugging him to record music because he had like a 4-track recorder. I was always bugging him to like sing stuff, and I'd play the harmonica, and so he knew that I was into singing and I had a fairly good voice or whatever.
And charismatic.
So then fast forward.
What in the world?
Well, that song, Sign, Sign, Everywhere a Sign.
Yeah.
Put my hair up under my hat, stepped in, down and why. You know that song?
Yeah.
Basically, this is fast forward to 98. Eric's without a band. The lounge stuff had just been released, I think.
Right.
And so Exotica, this Exotica music is starting to happen. And Eric's like, oh, there's something to that. Hey, Al, we should start this. Basically, Eric and our bass player Lane were brainstorming. And they kind of came up with the concept of Ape, which is a modern day Exotica band, basically. Much more then than now.
Right, with like Caribbean influences too, like calypso and stuff, right?
We basically did everything from 1920s steel guitar rag stuff through 60s jungle rock. That was the concept from the beginning.
Yeah.
Eric's playing like a tri-neck Hawaiian steel thing. We had upright bass and we had like banjolele for a couple of songs.
Ooh, yeah.
You know, it was a ukulele but a banjo, you know. And we had like 30 instruments and we were trading them all out and it all kind of got whittled down. I was like flying up from LA for gigs, trying to learn 5 songs, and it just wasn't, there was just too much to do in one practice to pull it off for the gig.
So, and I think that's where the interesting part of Ape really comes in, that sets you guys so far apart from other bands, is that you would be carving a tiki on the stage.
And that was simply because the band, let alone, couldn't learn 5 new songs. I frickin' couldn't learn 5 new songs.
Yeah.
I would fly up there for a gig, have one practice. It was like, because I didn't carve a tiki in the first couple of times.
Okay.
This was an idea that was, in the beginning, just thrown out there like, hey, you carve a tiki on stage. And we're like, ah, ha, ha, yeah. But he's like, hey, what if you actually carve a tiki on stage? And then that way you sing like 3 songs, 4 songs, the rest of the time you're carving a tiki.
Were you carving tikis at all before that?
Eric gets me into the tiki thing. So now I'm fully indoctrinated into the tiki thing.
Right.
We had an assignment. You had to do a self-portrait almost every single term. It was art school. This one guy, Bern Hogarth, he actually did the Tarzan comics in like the 50s.
Oh.
Maybe the 40s. But he taught at Art Center.
Wow.
And one of his final project was you had to do a self-portrait, but had to be a primitive art form of some sort.
Oh.
I'm instantly like, oh, I'm going to do a tiki.
Yeah.
I'm going to carve myself, but I was like on the phone, I'm like, the local nursery had a down log, but they're like, you're going to need a forklift to move it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, a forklift? What? And so, you know, it's just not going to happen. Instead, I do a self-portrait of myself as a Hopi Kachina doll, because this is my roots. My grandfather would drive Route 66 from Chicago out to Monument Valley in the Four Corners area. And I grew up in that whole like full respect of indigenous peoples and things. And I love Kachina dolls. My dad had a major Kachina doll collection. It's a hand-carved wooden Kachina doll, you know, self-portrait. And then that basically was my first 3-dimensional illustration. This changed my 2-dimensional painting into 3-dimensional illustration.
I see.
And it was a whole thing about how I actually had to go that route to get a scholarship.
Oh.
Because I was running out of money quick.
Oh, right.
And so in order to get a scholarship, you had to do something weird and wacky. So I did this, and then I'm like, oh, this was fun. And I had full access to a wood studio. So I had the tools and everything. So I bust this out. It's a huge hit. So I do this, and it changes my career path from 2-dimensional art to 3-dimensional art. Wow. My graduating portfolio was all 3D illustration, not 2D illustration.
Wow.
It took 5 more years before I actually carved a large tiki. And I just had that 25th anniversary.
Yeah.
Which you can, right here, get a, that link right there. You can buy little tiki pendants of the first 3 tikis I carved 25 years ago. I started carving large tikis in '96, so I started large tiki thing and getting into art galleries and stuff like that, advertising in Tiki News and stuff, having a reputation. But basically started carving on stage, and you know, first carving on stage was for Otto at Bongos by the Bay, I believe.
Wow.
Which was you know, like one of his first events. It was like, I think his second or major event up in San Francisco or something.
Otto is also the same guy that gave Shag his first solo gallery show.
Right.
So Otto is responsible for curating some incredible talent in this world.
And that show, I was in that show also because I had just carved my first 2 tikis.
Oh.
And he's like, we're doing this tiki show, you know, you should send the gallery picture. And I just finished my first 2 tikis. I sent Billy at Le Loose pictures of my first 2 tikis.
Yeah.
And he's like, great, we'll love to have you in the show. Then I was like, oh, I have to make a 3rd tiki somehow before October. Carving on stage, this is basically what you got in like 90 minutes maybe. But this guy, 18 minutes for a TV show.
18 minutes?
Yes, we did a TV show, 3 songs. And they're like 3 minutes-ish each or whatever. Eyes, nose, mouth, I was actually blew myself away that I actually got it by that third song. It was done.
Were you carving to the beat?
Carving to the beat, you know.
If anybody has tried to carve a tiki at home, it's really complex.
Yeah. We started in '98, and Tiki Oasis was, what, 2001 or something?
Yeah.
And so he didn't have bands. The very first one, 2002, he had a couple of bands, but they're playing like on the lawn, basically.
Yep.
2003, Ape had several years under our belt and making a scene in San Francisco. So he invited us to headline 2003.
And I think that's the first time I saw you perform. And if you aren't familiar with
did I look like this?
And if you aren't familiar with what Tiki Oasis is, it's a tiki themed weekender.
Which is now how many years in the running?
20 something.
20 years in the running.
And I remember watching him on stage and just going like, what in the world is this? I was the youngest person at Tiki Oasis by far. And it was just, I was like watching all these like 30 somethings like doing a conga line and stuff. Like,
yeah, so that was cool. So we actually had that year.
And that was in Palm Springs.
We had two guys in ape outfits brawling because Gorilla X, which was a personality in San Francisco, he saw someone else in a gorilla outfit and was like, "This is not right."
Yeah, it was a fake gorilla battle.
Parents came out to see me for the first time perform. They drove out from Scottsdale, Arizona, and this is my dad's shirt.
Oh, wow.
And so I was wearing my dad's shirt on stage performing Hawaii Five-0, which basically was my indoctrination. I mean, my dad was a Hawaii file since he was 18 years old.
Sure.
Found out years later, he only spent 6 months in the South Pacific. Oh. So yeah, so we do Tiki Oasis, and then fast forward. Ape just had their like 20 some, whatever. We started in '98.
What's up with that hat?
So, what's happened?
It's just squished.
So I had to retire this one because I was like a happy-go-lucky pseudo surfer hodad, long-haired. I was into reggae music a whole bit, and then Eric comes up with this new retro thing. These people are gonna like not be into me,
right? Doing
exotica music as a hippie,
as a long hair. Dirty long hair.
I got to get a straw hat for these ape gigs. Happened to find this old dead man's hat in a retro
man's hat.
So I bought it. Then I modified it to make it a little more tropical by taking the rim off. Lo and behold, 3 years headlining Tiki Oasis, and starting in '98. By 2005, you could buy a hat like this retail.
Really?
And I'm just saying, I did this in '98, and by 2005, you could buy them retail with the fringe and everything.
Somebody saw you.
I don't know.
The interesting thing, too, is that, please don't take this the wrong way, not only because the band was exceptional, like super good, but there just weren't that many bands playing any kind of tiki-themed music at the time. Right. So it was like such on the forefront of what is now. Like there are so many bands playing Hawaiian style or calypso or tropical music, but back then it was
the same thing with making tiki mugs or carving. I had like captive audience. Now it's like shit. every day I wake up in the morning, there's another mug maker. And a tiki carver.
Yeah.
I'm like, God,
seriously.
Damn it.
But he was on the forefront, and I will tell you right now that that band is exceptional. And Al's mug making and tiki carving.
Apes.
What the fuck? Don't knock over your dudes.
ApeSupersonic.com.
Oh, okay. I gotta do another one of those things.
ApeSupersonic.com.
His mug making and his tiki carving is so far beyond, technically far beyond anybody else, that he even came and carved a 12-foot tiki in the front of my house.
Oh, I did that, but that's been the popular thing the last couple of years. Circling back to the old ape thing.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
So this was a little excursion through the tiki farm, but in, I think it's 2004, what does that say on there? We were supposed to do 250, and they were all brown with a red fez, and then tiki farm didn't quite finish all 250. This is the last one.
Oh.
So I had Holden make a bunch for me, unglazed.
Yeah.
And I glazed a bunch of super fun ones. And for our record release of apesupersonic.com, I glazed the last 12 in existence. We've sold them all. And if you go to apesupersonic.com, this will be offered in the near future as the very last existing unsold.
Wait, this literal one?
This one. This is it. This is what's the number on it?
68?
Number 68. So I only made, as far as I know, 68 custom super duper mugs.
Okay.
So that's coming up pretty soon.
Wow.
But
Okay.
that's not it. When we turned 20, this happened. So from our 20th anniversary, this was a keychain that I actually made early on.
Yeah.
And then one of our fans said, hey, that should be your next mug.
Yeah.
If you're looking to do another mug. And I'm like, dude, you know what it's going to be to make
Yes.
a full-on, like that is, the ukulele is full-on floating in space. I'm like, dude, you know what you're asking me to do? And then I'm like, I have to do it. But then wait. Then I did the maraca guy.
Oh my God. Wait, how did you mold those things?
Well, it's ancient secrets. I almost said ancient Chinese secret, but you don't say that anymore.
No.
Because I was born back when soap was cool. We're gonna say trade secrets, but
Sure.
it's not really hard to figure out. So I made 100 of these
Yeah.
and only 50 of these, and I have 6 each left.
Oh, so you can get those on tikimania.com.
But check it out.
Wow. What are these
So-
ghost monkeys?
This is like a little black and white, 1920s,
Oh.
30s or something.
Yeah.
The last 6 are all gonna be like matching. So
Super cool. Oh, wow.
So, this was one of my prototypes when I launched these. The last 4 that I think I have 4 sets to do, or 3 sets left to do. So there'll be more, something like that, but I haven't made them yet. Stay tuned. And then I want to debut something.
We're here?
Yeah.
Oh. Oh my God.
Okay, so
What in the world?
one of my major collectors is like, I want a brass monkey.
That funky monkey.
He specifically asked for the ukulele that looks like a
Pineapple.
So he's like, I want a pineapple ukulele. And as you can see, this is not a pineapple ukulele, right? So I worked my magic, and then I was like, well, you can't just have pineapple ukulele. You're gonna need
Pineapple maracas.
pineapple markers. This is actually fired glaze. I didn't paint these.
Oh, okay.
It's actually fired 24 karat gold glaze.
That sounds very expensive.
It is expensive. Long story short is I probably could have just painted them with like latex paint or something. But this is fired 24 karat gold glaze, and he gets his brass monkey.
But this is where I think that so many mug makers are very good at their art. And I think that this is where Crazy Al goes, yeah, but I'm...
Well, the thing is, getting into mugs.
Oh, wow, you got more.
Well, this was the first Tiki mug that I did on my own. Holden in his infinite wisdom,
From Tiki Farm.
from Tiki Farm, first purveyor of Tiki mugs. He did artist sets where he had a bunch of artists do mugs. So I did basically busts, just the head of 3 of my Tiki sculptures.
Okay.
Number 18, number 13, and then number 34. And then later on, basically Gecko's killing it in the ceramic field. And
Right.
he's selling mugs for what I could barely sell a wooden sculpture for.
Right. Back
So I'm
then.
like, what the hell am I doing? So then I got to get into this ceramic market. In 2004, I basically launched this thing, which I just took the Tiki Farm mug that I designed of my Tiki number 13, and then I added the body, and it's like a replica of my original Tiki 13. And so Tiki Farm did like 250 of these.
Okay.
And then I started doing these things on my own, and I've only done like 100 of those or something. I don't think this existed in 2004. The whole deal was to make a incredible sculpture,
Right.
and then release it and blah, blah, blah. Because my competition was Bosco and Gecko, and they're very traditionalist in their very modernistic, very clean and very traditional. And I'm like, I want to do my Tiki Buddha design, blah, blah, blah. So with a little Tiki, like, detail-y guy.
Yeah.
And then it just went overboard from there. So basically, the latest thing I have going is this. Whoosh.
What?
This is a little experiment I did with the he tiki through an eBay critique message.
Critique, those are fun.
They're basically, why do you call it a he? Because I just called it the he. They're like, he in the Maori language means neck.
Okay.
So you're just basically calling it a neck. And why would you call it a neck? You're obviously a dumb shit. This is a he tiki, which is usually in New Zealand a jade pendant worn by women
Around your neck.
around your neck. It's a flat jade pendant made of greenstone, which is their jade. Actually, Holden asked me to do a Maori design for them, and I came up with this one where I'm like, ooh, what if you take this flat image, give them a little belly so that you put some. And then I drew it all up, and I'm like, I can't give this to Tiki Farm. So I ended up doing their Tico design. I decided to keep this one for myself. So I did one Maori design for Tiki Farm, but one for me.
Yeah.
And so the original, the 2014 design has this really cool lizard thing. And I was reading, is it a lizard? Is it a bird? Because they have these like claw images and stuff.
Yeah.
And then the he that's worn is literally worn like that.
Oh, okay. Just smaller.
It has this egg-shaped embryo thing, so it's like a fertility, maybe. I was reading in a book that they thought maybe it's part of a bird culture thing, that it's like this embryo. It's just the coolest thing ever. So but they had these great like lizard tongues. The traditional Maori modified it up, put all kinds of extra designs in on there and everything. But gave them a traditional Maori tongue.
And then the eyes are special.
Oh yeah, so this one, I wasn't going to deal with inlays on the eyes. So this one, I left the eyes blank, and I do real abalone inlay on the eyes.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you did that yourself?
Yeah, actually I had a friend, he laser cut those.
Oh.
But he found a real abalone shell veneer. The thing was, I only made one mold of each. I got 100 pieces out of one mold.
Wow.
For this design. But this design, they pushed it a little bit, and we only got like 75 pieces. They're all signed and numbered. Is that 74 on there? Okay, so this one's 77, so I'll probably do 3 more to round it out to 80.
But are these available on your website now?
Hopefully, by the time this is cut, there will be a link to some maybe eBay auctions on the matching set. So that's basically what I'm doing, is the last remaining pieces of each edition are matching sets.
Well, they're incredible. They're super rad.
We got this cool kind of red, and then we got a green matching set.
And you just won't find this kind of detail from almost any other tiki.
And then at some point, if you stay tuned, we have like artist proofs. And this is also the brass monkeys this is what they call Marsden flower jade, which is indigenous to New Zealand.
Amazing.
And so he asked me to basically recreate in glaze form this particular New Zealand jade. So
beautiful.
And then also this red lacquer wax thing is also a traditional thing that you find in the he pendants, which is something that I had to actually research and go, oh, what is that? How do I do it? How do I make it look like the real authentic thing? And then these are basically the traditional colors of Maori stuff is red, black, and white. Okay. Like their graphic design. Yep. And then the green is the jade. Right. So that's basically anything new I have. Are we done, or?
I would say that we haven't even scratched the surface. We could probably do this for another 2 hours. And in fact, I'd love to have you come back if you're into it.
Well, we could probably, how about another cocktail? You want to do another cocktail?
Eventually, we should do another cocktail.
I'm dry. Where's my cocktail?
It's in one of these things somewhere. Folks, if you enjoyed this, please be sure to like, comment, hit the subscribe button if you aren't already. Go follow Crazy Al
at Crazy Al Tiki's on Instagram.
Do that.
And tikimania.com.
I did want to present you with this Spike's Breezeway Cocktail Hour enamel pin.
Oh, I've been watching online. I've been seeing this.
This is like the ship's wheel pin. The only way you can get this pin is if you are either on the show or you are a member of the $10 tier of our Patreon account. There's a link in the description below on how to join the Patreon. And I certainly want to thank my good buddy, Mr. Crazy Al, for just all of that.
Is it upside down? Or?
It is, but that's cool.
Someone's gonna lose a little.
Called Acapulco Gold, which mixes.
Nice.
Yes.
That's different than Maui Wowie. You bring up an appropriate mug because
Okay.
these two. Oh, what did I do? Kick the. Hello. Back on. What's the first? What?
So for this.
What?
Damn it.
Fucking probably not gonna.
You're breaking.
Good.
Breaking the breezeway.
I feel like a ShamWow guy every time I do this.
You just
Got
did.
a little on me. Damn it. I'm not a cocksmail. What is it? Cocksnail? Coxman? So when you come out to Scottsdale and buy my stuff, bring your own corks. Because there's a lot of alcohol in here, ladies and gentlemen. It's not gonna be fun in the morning for you. Shake, ba 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 ba, shake, ba 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 ba. The tomato, the tomato.
Tomato juice. Wait, what's up with this? The scenery's falling apart.
Okay, so I'm like this, something like that. All right, now it's a full. You're gonna have to stay there for a long time, bro.
Okay.
All right.
I wish my straw was longer.
Oh, you're trying not to move?
Yeah. I'm staring at my beer and I'm like,
oh my God.
why won't you come to my mouth? Can they see you past this thing?
I
I cheers you with something, but my drink turned into a monkey or maybe one of these New Zealand dudes.
Look, you can spin it.